Hey, it's Ken Lewis. Welcome to Mixing Night. Today I'm going to break down the top 5 differences between amateur productions and hit songs. I've been making records my entire life. One of the great things about being a mix engineer is you get to analyze other producers' work. As I'm mixing, I get to see how they laid everything out, how they arranged it, orchestrated it, how they layered their vocals, all of these different pieces. And I can tell you from seeing over the years that there's very often a very big difference between independent productions and major label productions. And I'm going to break down all of the differences today, or at least many of them, and show you some key things that you can focus in on your own work to make your productions hit quality. Number 1, vocals. Most importantly, a great vocal performance. And that's on you as an artist. And if you're the producer, that's on you as a producer to bring out of the artist. And as the engineer, you've got to capture it and help comp it and assemble it later so that you have the best vocal. Now here's how to do that. Whenever I'm producing a song, the vocalist, I don't care if they're Mariah Carey or somebody not very good. I'm going to keep recording them until I feel like they're in the zone of the song, that they're really connecting on an emotional level. And once I've gotten them to that place and they're really delivering what the song needs, then I'll try and get somewhere between 8 and 20 takes, literally. If they're sounding great, I usually keep them going. And then after, I send them away and I go through every single vocal with a fine-tooth comb, every syllable, and I put it together like a puzzle. This is called vocal comping. And when I'm done with the vocal comp, it will sound like the singer sang that song one time, start to finish, the best they ever sang it in their life. And that's what you're up against as an amateur. You got to bring the same level of commitment and performance to your own productions if you want to be in that same league. Number 2, the mix. Crucially important. This is one of my superpowers. As a producer, it's really amazing also being a great mixer, because anytime I want anybody to hear any of my work, it's going to sound top quality. And for you amateurs, you got to realize that that's what you're faced with when you're trying to compete with hit records. I mean, not only did probably your favorite song on the radio get produced by a top producer, but then they went and hired some super expensive mix engineer, paid them a lot of money to make sure that every little piece was perfect. And that's an uphill battle for amateurs to compete with. The good thing on your side is time. You have time to really work on that mix over the course of days or weeks or whatever until every element is right where you want it, then you're ready to put it out. And if you can't do that yourself, find a pro to do it for you. You can get a great quality mix pretty inexpensively nowadays. So if you're not the one who's going to bring your production all the way home, find a pro. Number 3, sound choices. Come on, guys. I cannot believe I am still hearing productions with mediocre, samey, I've heard this sound 2,000 times before productions. I mean, we have so many sound choices nowadays between all of the soft synths, between sound sites like sounds.com and splice.com. There's all these sample pack sites. Making sounds is a cottage industry now. So if you don't have great sounds yet, go out and get them and spend that extra 10 or 15 minutes to really dig and find them. Don't let it be an excuse that you don't have access to great sounds. Yes, you do. Spend a little bit of extra time finding that signature sound. Think of a song like Kanye West, Power. Instant signature. I mean, you can't listen to that song 2 seconds without instantly knowing that's Kanye West, Power. Same with Bruno Mars, Mark Ronson, Uptown Funk. Instantaneously, that record drops and you're listening to Uptown Funk in the first second or two. And they're using unique signature sounds that nobody else is using. So keep those things in mind for your own productions and find that 1 or 2 things that really just makes people go like, oh, that's fresh. Number 4, arrangement. Probably your intro is too long, or it takes way too long to get to the chorus, or your overall song length is just too long. People's attention spans are going quickly nowadays. You really got to get to the point. And you also got to realize that there's a big difference between a hit artist and you that nobody knows about. Because a hit artist, everybody is waiting for them to drop their next thing. They have a built-in fan base that is salivating for their next single. You, on the other hand, probably not. So it's going to be a different mindset between how you put your arrangement together. Maybe Drake can handle a 30-second intro, whereas you need 5 seconds to get to the point. Maybe Adele can wait a minute to get to the hook. But if you want to make it on a pop radio, you better be to the hook between 30 and 45 seconds pretty typically, and the closer to 30, the better. And as you start thinking about these things with arrangement, start listening to the radio more and start analyzing some of your favorite songs, and I bet you'll find that they follow a lot of these arrangement guidelines as well. So not only is it important to get the arrangements of your song correct from section to section to section, but also what goes into those sections is just crucially important. A lot of times as a producer, I'm trying to build some sort of a story with the music, some sort of ebb and flow using dynamics and size. The verse might be really stripped down and bare, maybe just drums and a piano, something really simple. And then you might hit the chorus and I might have stacks of backgrounds and guitars and bigger drums and bass lines and the whole nine. Think about what goes in each section as you go, but also, let me give you a game to play. It's one of my favorite games for the end of a record, the What Can You Mute game. So the What Can You Mute game is you're finished with your production, you're ready to mix, but it's feeling a little bit cluttered. Like, you probably have a little bit too much going on, but you don't really know what it is. So you can do this while you mix, or right before you mix, or at the end of your mix. Set maybe a loop for the chorus, and just listen to the chorus, and each loop, just mute one thing, and ask yourself, better or worse, better or worse. And there's probably going to be one thing in there, maybe several different elements that you just don't need. Maybe you didn't need that fast tambourine or that, steady percussion or that whatever pad. Learn to love the space. Not everything has to be crammed into every arrangement. So playing the What Can You Mute game and being much more conscious of overall arrangement can really help you bring your amateur production up to hit status. Number 5, simplicity. Dr. Luke once said that sometimes the most difficult thing to do is the easiest, simplest thing to do, and he's absolutely right. I'm a session musician. I have played on hundreds and hundreds of projects, and I can tell you that 9 times out of 10, probably 99 times out of 100, my musical skills are not being challenged by the parts that I'm putting down. It's not about how incredibly talented you are and how many notes you can play and how fast that you can play them. It's about the parts that you choose to play. What you want to do is focus on your best ideas. So a lot of times you come up with this great idea, and then while you're producing or recording, you're layering parts on top of that idea, or you're coming up with counter melodies that complement that idea, but all of those things may or may not be clouding that. So you want to be sure that you keep the focus on the most important parts of your record that are going to attach to and respond to the listener most strongly. All right, I've broken down the 5 major differences between amateur productions and hit singles. Hopefully there's a lot for you to dig into and work with on your own productions. But first, please like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff actually really helps me, and I do appreciate it. And who knows, maybe I'll hear you on the radio sometime soon. My YouTube channel is the most badass on the block, and you want to be a member. Subscribe right now. Do it. What? Okay, I saw you. I saw that. You got it. Okay, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that subscription. Peace.